Hey, hey, hey. So today I want to discuss um, a few things. In particular, Paris still slaying everybody right now with their infrastructure, all that. So, what they're doing now is Paris has voted to make 500 more streets car free. So they were like, look, we're going to put this to a vote, a referendum. And apparently, Paris people are not that different from America in that they don't participate. Um, so this referendum sailed through according to Bloomberg. So let's read a little bit of this. With the passage of a referendum on Sunday, so that's last Sunday, Mayor Anne Hidalgo will amplify her ambitious moves to challenge car dominance and expand pedestrian access. So here we are. Paris voters opted in a referendum Sunday to close 500 more city streets to cars, making way for pedestrians, bikers, and greenery. The plan, which will also remove 10% of Paris's current parking spots, will expand on a green push by Mayor Anne Hidalgo that has already seen 300 streets planted and cleared of cars since 2020. Coming a year before the end of Hidalgo's second and final term, the initiative will continue to change the face and character of the city that has already taken major steps away from car dominance towards an emphasis on public transit and active travel. The aim is to pedestrianize 5 to 8 streets per neighborhood, with locals being consulted this spring to determine which streets would be most suitable and the average budget of between an average budget of about 500,000 euros or $540,000 per street. The initiative was approved by 66% of voters and has been celebrated by Paris City Hall. Paris's Commissioner for Green Spaces and Greening, Christopher Nadvolsky, said the strong approval margin suggests Parisians are already saying clearly that they want more pedestrian streets and fewer cars and more nature in the city. But the tally only represents a small subset of residents, with just 4% turnout of eligible voters. All right. While the turnout could suggest some indifference from residents, Hidalgo's green policies do have their discontents. Some tradespeople and locals in heavily visited Montmartre neighborhood, for example, have expressed concerns that ongoing pedestrianization and parking spot removal taking place around the Sacre Coeur may make daily life needlessly complex for locals. The president of Drivers Association 40 Millions, the Automobilistes, has also called the removal of car access in Paris a gradual confiscation of urban space that penalizes those who have no option but to drive. Within this group, the removal of parking spots is a particular bugbear, following the city's pledge in its 2024 to 2030 climate plan to remove 60,000 parking spaces and replace them with trees. Parisians have a fairly clear idea of what to expect from their new green streets, from the example of the 300 already delivered since 2020. Focusing on streets near schools, these plans typically remove car lanes as well as parking spots and replace them with a mix of paving and planted areas, tending towards a broad ratio of 2/3 paving to 1/3 painting, building on earlier green remodelings of major city hubs. The aims of these conversions are multifold. They're intended to reduce pollution, encourage walking and biking, and to and from school, and to reduce urban heat island effect by introducing temperature moderating greenery and improve flood resilience by replacing and permeable surfaces with open soil that can absorb more rain. Okay. So they want the like bioswale effect. Um, and they want to reduce the urban heat island effect that happens in cities that makes them extra hot. And they also want people, walking and biking to school are more healthy for people, helps them live longer if you have health problems. Look, I'm all for it. When will New York? We need New York to do something like this. See, in New York, the parking class, you know, they claim to be poor, but in New York, actually, they they claim to be poor, but the average driver in New York City makes like $30,000 more than the average New Yorker. So so that's like 40 or 50% more than the average New Yorker. So even in New York, you know, people who are making less do not drive. The people who are coming into town to visit, to come here to make money to take back to their towns, who come here to be entertained and they go back to wherever they came from. They want us to accommodate their driving into New York City, into our neighborhoods. Well, look, like the Paris people voted for it. Granted, it was only 4%, which is terrible. A terrible percentage, but clearly, there might be opposition, but it just isn't strong opposition. Most people love hanging out in car-free, car-light spaces. When I go outside of my doorstep on Broadway, um, people like being there. Uh, people like being there. I mean, it's so busy with people. I love it. I love a lot of people. So, so look, if you don't like people, a lot of people, you know, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I guess don't drive, don't drive into Paris, and probably don't drive into New York City. Or actually, I don't know if you will even be able to drive into Paris. Um, so there's that. So I think this is wonderful that other cities around the world are making their streets car free. Hopefully, in New York, we can do the same eventually. Let me know what you think down in the comments about this latest move by Mayor Anne Hidalgo to give more neighborhoods access to car free streets and letting the neighborhoods have a say in which streets get chosen. All right. Yeah, hope really you are having a good night.